Hey there! Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with at least 1 or 2 people that you really like. Hey everybody, I'm Yendi, and this is Odyssey with Yendi. In this space, we connect with some of your favorite people as they share their journeys. Here we have some unfiltered conversations as we deep dive into their inspirations, motivations, and experiences to inspire our own life journey. Odyssey with Yendi is brought to you by Worthy Park Rum Cream. Whatever your style, classic, trendy, sophisticated, bold, one thing we all share is our desire to indulge. Velvety and perfectly balanced with just the right amount of spirit, Worthy Park Rum Cream is your perfect pleasure. So whatever your style, indulge in the new Worthy Park Rum Cream. Smooth Jamaican elegance. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly. Our guest today has been named MLS Goalkeeper of the Year on numerous occasions. He's also won the CONCACAF Gold Cup Golden Glove Award, and he's also won the Caribbean Cup. It's safe to say he has a very safe pair of hands. He is our national goalkeeper for Jamaica and also our captain. Please welcome none other than Andre Blake. All right, our captain is in the building. Hello, Capo. How are you, Andre?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. You know what I love about you? So I always see you from a distance because you don't really share much and open up much. But you know what I do love a lot about you? You feel like one of the most grounded, humble, chill, family-oriented athletes that I've ever seen in my life. Fair or wrong?
Fair.
Okay,
Fair.
that's you, right?
Fair enough. That's me.
Yeah.
In a
Talk
nutshell.
to me a little bit about what is the thing that keeps you as just level as you are?
I'm shy.
Are you?
I'm shy.
Yeah?
I'm very shy.
So somebody forced you to come here today?
No. I'm growing up, but I'm still shy.
Yeah.
I'm still shy.
Tell me about the little boy, the shy little boy, where he grew up and what life was like for him.
So I'm from Jamaican, Clarendon, small community called Canaanites.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the ghetto.
Yeah.
You know, high violence, you know, but my mom was very strong, you know, 4 boys. She needed to be, you know, because being in a community where, you know, the violence was there, you know where that can go.
Of course.
Easily, you know, so she was very strict and life wasn't easy financially. It was pretty tough, but that was my motivation, you know. I wanted to be the one to change my mom's life and to change my life.
From you were little, that was a motivation
I was
for you?
a little boy.
Really? What was a thing for you that made you say, I want different for her, I want different for myself, I want different for the people I love?
So, as I said, you know, financially it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, my dad was there for a little bit and then he wasn't. So, at some point it was just my mom. You know, my dad, he did what he could, but he wasn't living with us. So it was just my mom, you know, and again, I have to give her so much credit because she's a strong woman, you know, and when I watch her, how she hustled for us, and, you know, I remember times I was going to bed, no food.
Really?
I was hungry, you know, she did everything she could to make sure we had somewhere to sleep. You know, we were able to go to school, but
that was what she could do.
She did her best, you know, and some tough times. And for me, you know, as I said, from a young age, you know, feeling that, you know, living that, you know, seeing that, I just, there was just this something for me that, you know, I want to make a change. I can make a change. And from ever since, for me, football is what was going to make that change.
You did buck up in a football or football buck up in a you?
Football buck up in a me. Like,
tell me.
Literally, you know, I love football.
Really?
I would go to the football field in the morning. I would go in the 12 o'clock sun.
No, you really love it then.
I'll be going in the evening again.
Yeah.
You know, I had 2 cousins, and every day me and them we broke out countless windows growing up. Buck off, toe and all that good stuff. But for me, it was just football. Like, the love, as you said, a football find me.
Yeah. But here's my thing though. I feel like most people, when them playing ball, you know, you're going kick ball, you're going to try shift somebody, you're going to try salad your cousin. Most people don't choose to go into the goal. How did you end up in the goal?
And again, I didn't choose goalkeeping.
Yeah.
Goalkeeping chose me. So, you know, like any other young kid, you know, you go to the football field, you run around, you kick around. At some point, you might end up in the goal. You know, whenever I end up in the goal, it's almost like everything would just come natural. You know, like, it wasn't really thought.
Yeah.
You know, and people would just be like, But I didn't really see it. I was just like, me love football, wants me a player.
Me that.
That's my happy place, you know. So, yeah. But the more I do it, and every time I end up another goal, you know, the feedbacks would just be really good.
So, you know, say that you know, so nobody can get past him, nobody can score
And
against
I was
him.
short.
You were short?
I hit a growth spurt. I hit a growth spurt.
Really? At what age?
Maybe like, so I'm gonna say like 17.
Oh, that's a late spurt.
Yeah, literally, like in primary school, they would put me on the field. I would score. I was pretty decent on the field. I would score, and then they would put me in the goal. And that's how we'd win all our games, because nobody's scoring on me.
Wow. From primary school, you know?
Oh, but I was short.
You've been that guy.
I was short.
But now you're 6'2", no? So the growth spurt came, but here's my question. You said about 17. So about 17 now, are you still in Jamaica? Are people trying to scout you? Like, how did you end up now from being in Maypen to being out of Jamaica?
Interesting story. I dominated Premier League.
Yeah.
So there was a guy by the name of John Green, late John Green. He was running the Clarendon FA at that time. And so he would go around and watch all the Premier Leagues, and he would pick the best from the different schools. So I got selected, but as a goalkeeper. So when I went there now, there was a time when they were coming in with the Jamaica under 15s. So I was playing at that time, you know, I was like 12, you know, so I was playing with, you have the under 13s and then I think the under 16s at the parish level. So now you had Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and St. Elizabeth. All 4 teams were playing against each other, and the national team scouts came.
At 12, they selected you for the under 15?
Yeah, round about 12. Yeah, round about 12. Because then now you were getting ready to go to first form, transitioning. So I got selected there for the under 15s. But I was so short. So it got interesting, you know. My competitors, my lookups, you know, and I didn't make the team.
Really?
And the reason was I was too short. You know, so I spent that day, you know, when they were leaving and we were going home because we had camp. I cried. I cried tears. And Mr. Barrows at the time was one of the drivers, and he came to me and he said, "You were the best of the 3 goalkeepers." And he said, "Go home, drink a whole heap of porridge."
Bulk up!
I never forget. He said, "Go home, drink a whole heap of porridge, try put on some weight and try get taller." And I held on to that.
Yeah.
I went home and I went to the supermarket. I mean, I was not making it from scratch, but every week I'm buying this is it the Lasco, those bag parts every week. Was it the porridge or not? I don't know. But I got taller.
We'll never know.
We never know.
Yeah.
But I can remember, like, I was pretty sure.
Which high school did you go to?
I went to Glenmuir for 1 year.
Ah.
Then I transferred to Clarendon College for 4 years.
Okay.
And then I went back to Glenmuir for sixth form.
Ah, so you were in Jamaica right through up to sixth form?
Up to sixth form, and then I went to college.
And which college did you go to?
University of Connecticut.
So that was on a football scholarship?
100%.
Walk me through that. We need to know about that.
So did well in primary school. Went to Glenmuir, did well. Went to Clarendon College, did well. So then the scouts came. Once you got to sixth form, now they're trying to identify talent. So I think I was recommended. They came, like what they saw, and then I got selected. But then, interestingly, again, I didn't want to go to school.
Really?
No. I want to play football.
So you know what's interesting about that, Andre? Let me tell you what's interesting about it. I was just going to say to you, you have so many kids who are good, naturally talented, skilled, but they're so focused on the football, they just pay no attention to the academics. And I was going to say to you, you clearly paid attention to your academics because you didn't make it to sixth form. Because sixth form not going to accept you
if you
without
don't have
some academics. But then I hear you say, well, you never want to do no school, you just want to play ball, but it's not for tertiary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably, maybe you can say it was destined, because I had an older brother that my mom told him point blank, if you don't come first in your class, you can never play football. If she had said that to me, I probably would not be sitting here having this conversation right now.
Right.
I mean, because I wouldn't say I was an A student, to be honest.
Right.
I was able to do my work.
Right.
And there was also a turning point in my primary school for that, thanks to my teacher, because I used to just go to school and chat, and not pay attention. And when test time come, I get zero. And I remember we had a test. I had a best friend. We would talk all day, and then when test time come, I get him 80s and me I get 20s.
Oh, you were that kid.
I was that kid.
Your friend draw you out.
You understand. And he might chat with me, but when him go home,
he might do him
work, me go and play ball.
See there.
So we had I think I was in grade 5. We had this test that if you do well on the test, you would move to a so-called brighter class. Right? I didn't do so well, so my friend did well and we got separated. And I remember there was this one test that I didn't do well, and I was in the back of the class talking, and the teacher called me up to the front, and I got a proper spanking.
I was going to say, them times that you could have beat kids in Jamaica. You can't do it now, but them times, hey, should we even tell people about when we say caning and them something there? We have got Dina discipline. Forget caning.
Yeah,
hey.
I got a proper spanking, and that day was a turning point in my life. Really? From an academic standpoint. I ended up being monitor for my class.
Oh wow, talk about a 180.
Yep. That was a turning point, because she did give me a reality check, when she said, listen, your mom probably doesn't even have it. Your mom is probably working so hard.
And you over here,
and it did.
It resonated.
It did.
Connect.
It did connect. And I was very happy for that moment, because looking back, there are certain moments in my life where I can say, listen, that was one of them.
Yeah. Let us go back to, you're now in the States. You don't want to go to school, you want to play ball, but you're in school.
Yeah. So I didn't want to go to school. I turned down a couple full ride scholarship because I didn't want to go to school, and this guy came and he said, University of Connecticut is interested in you. And for whatever reason, I couldn't say no to this one. And I've said no to maybe 4 or 5 schools prior to that one because I'm like, no, I want to go professional. I don't want to go to school. And I don't know if it was the way he said it. He said, with the talent that you have, if you go to school, you'll be getting a degree. And if you perform the way you can, you're going to get drafted, but you're also going to have your education to always fall back on. And maybe it was the way he presented it. And I said, all right, let's give it a try.
You more than gave it a try. You said, let me take this and go with it and take it all the way. Because you took it all the way.
Did.
What did you study?
I was doing communications. Yeah, I did 3 years.
The irony of the communications guy being shy, by the way. Can we talk about it?
Listen. I was at a point where after I'm a sophomore going into junior,
you have to choose.
My advisor was like, all right, you're going to have to choose a major now. He was like, all right, okay, I choose this.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I was just using it as
the access to the football.
A vehicle. But I know that I had to do my work because in college, if your GPA is not at a certain level, you can't play.
That's right.
You know, but I know that, all right, this is what I want. This is a way to get there. So I have to do what I have to do.
Let's talk about in college. And you're playing ball. You do communications, but you're playing ball.
Playing ball.
When did you feel like you had a sense that, say, this thing can happen outside of school? Say, this thing might actually be my career for real, for real?
I wanted to leave after my first year. But I was so focused when I got there. It was difficult. It was cold.
Yeah.
It was lonely. Moving away from your family, to go to a new country, culture shock, There's so much distractions that can happen where you can go there and get lost in the system. But I was so focused, I knew what I wanted. Yeah. And then thank God I was able to perform. First year, second year, third year was all really good performances, winning Goalkeeper of the Year all 3 years.
I'm sorry, you're so casual about it. A little too casual. What you said now?
Yep. So, winning Goalkeeper of the Year all 3 years in college.
Thought so.
So I, as you said, I took it and I ran with it. And then I got drafted.
Okay, can we please talk about draft day? Because your draft day was no normal draft. We're talking like big deal draft. We're talking about, you say it. Where were you drafted, Andre?
Number 1.
Oh! Don't you just still love that?
One of the best moments.
Can I tell you that even as a big man, me like you right now, the number one thing in my bio, number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
I don't care when I was 18. I don't care.
History.
That's a big deal.
History.
That's something for those who may not know. For collegiate sports in the US, when people are coming out of collegiate sport and going professional, people turn on them TV to watch the draft. People wait to see who is number 1 and where them going and who getting them. It's a big deal. Tell me about draft day. I want to know what you bathed with. I want to know what you put on. I want to know how you got the news. Tell me everything.
I had no idea I would have been drafted number 1, by the way.
Really?
No idea. I know I would have been top 10.
Yeah.
I was dressed in my nice suit. My brother was there to share in the moment.
Yeah.
My agent, one of my uncles. So draft day, I'm just there chilling.
Yeah.
No expectations. All right, I'm gonna get drafted. I'm gonna become a pro.
Yeah.
That's it. That would have been enough for me.
Right.
So I was just sitting there, and Vancouver had the 3rd pick, and they were talking to me all combine because I did well at the combine. As the goalkeeper, I was the best player at the combine.
Right.
So Vancouver was like, this is my guy, we need this guy. Philly had the number 2 pick, DC had the number 1 pick. And last minute, Philly traded with DC, and when they said, out of the University of Connecticut, Generation Adidas, and I heard my name, like, no words to explain that feeling.
Oh, that actually makes me really happy. My eyes are sweating. Oh, that makes me so excited. I'm not even kidding.
No words to explain.
Because that now is a thing that, what I literally think of when I hear you say that? I think about the kid The kid in Maypeg who said,
the kid.
I want to change my life. I want to change my mom's life. This is now the thing that can change everything, eh?
That's the moment, the beginning of the moment.
Oh my gosh. So you were drafted, number 1 draft pick to Philadelphia Union.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you play right now?
Philadelphia Union.
How many years has it been?
12 years.
I know you're in the system, you're in the fabric. Well, you're more than in the fabric. Can we talk about your stats at Philly, please?
So I've been there for 12 years.
Yeah.
Played over 300 games.
Crazy impressive.
Yeah, I've been goalkeeper of the year 3 times.
Look
First to have ever done
number,
it.
You know, see that? 3 years, you got goalkeeper in college,
Yeah.
And 3 times. Yeah, go ahead.
The first goalkeeper to have ever won it 3 times, so that's a big deal.
This is at Philadelphia Union or in the MLS?
In the league. No goalkeepers ever won it 3 times, so that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
You also have won the Golden
Glove with Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. Which takes us to Jamaica. When you got the call that you were going to play your very first game in your black, green, and gold, you say, well, actually, you're not playing on black, green, and gold still. You wear different colors.
Yeah, my color different.
But when you got your call that you're going to do your first national cap, walk me through that.
That was right after I got drafted.
Yeah.
In 2014.
Yeah.
Winfred Schaefer came in and he called me. I remember I was going to training and my phone rang and I answered. It was Roy Simpson.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Roy. He said, the coach wants to talk to you. I said, really? Like, yeah. And he put him on. He was like, Andre, I said, or you? He's like, I want you to come in and be my goalkeeper. I said, are you sure? He said, yes, I'm sure. And then I didn't know what to say after that. Because in my head, I'm like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
So it was a big moment, actually. I came in and we won the Caribbean Cup in Montego Bay, and I won the best goalkeeper of the tournament.
My guy. In your first year of being on the national squad.
Like a full-time starter, yeah.
At this point, Andre, you must be like, what did I do to deserve everything happening the way it's happening, everything unfolding for me the way it's unfolding for me? What were some of the things running through your mind, coursing through you?
What keeps me going is just my humble beginnings.
Yeah.
Where it started and the challenges that I had to go through. It really molded me. I feel like I was being equipped for the journey.
A word. Yeah. You said that was 2014.
2014.
It's been over a decade. How many games have you now been goalkeeper for Jamaica?
81 games.
81 games. How many? No, let me not say how many. You've gone from being our keeper to not only being our keeper. You have bigger work now. You have leadership work. You're also our captain. Being a captain comes with a different type of responsibility, though. It's not just being a teammate. Walk me through, what it entails to be the capo.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And your job is never done. It's very difficult. You have 23 guys from 23 different homes.
Right.
Even though we're all Jamaicans, it's still diverse.
Yeah.
And the way I talk to you might not be the way I talk to somebody else. Mm-hmm. So it can be very difficult. You have to learn your players. You have to earn their respect. Mm-hmm. You have to lead by example. And and finding that balance is never easy. When to put your foot down, when to back off a little bit. And it's something that I am still trying to master. It's a job that's never done.
Yeah.
It's never done.
Yeah. We're in a game. We are 0-0, it is halftime. And the coach has done his part. He said what he needs to say. And you put on your captain hat now and it's your turn to say something. What do you say to the men in the locker room?
It depends on performance.
Yeah.
How are we doing in the moment? There's still 45 minutes to go. Mm-hmm. It's 0-0. Mm-hmm. That in itself is a positive.
Right.
One of my biggest principles as a captain is effort. Mm-hmm. I do not compromise on effort. It might not be your best day, but give me your best effort.
Oh, word.
And we're good. You can have a bad day. And I'll accept that. I'll be the first one to come and tell you, next game you get it right.
Yeah.
But if I feel like you're not giving me your 100%, I cannot accept that. We're going to have problems.
I hear that.
Bare minimum effort.
Yeah.
You have to compete, you have to fight, you have to show that it means something to you.
Yeah.
And most oftentimes than not, the rest take care of itself.
That's right. That's right. In a game like football, I often say football is it can be such an unkind sport. In that, if you were awarded points, I actually just said this very recently, when a local team faced what some people dub as the GOAT in football, I'm watching the game, both legs of the game, and I said to myself, boy, if you got points for effort, if you got points for fight and for heart, it would be great, but the ball is round. And unfortunately, sometimes a scoreline does not reflect the game. How does a team come back from that? How does a team come back to be like, let me not be deflated. Let me not throw in the towel because no, I really did my best. How do you still go in and say, yo, we have this, we can't give up?
Belief and passion.
Yeah.
You know, if you're passionate about something, you're not gonna give up that easy.
Right.
You know, if you believe in something, you're gonna keep going after it. You know, so 24 hours, 12 hours, you're gonna feel like, but that passion, if that passion, that fire that's burning within you, it's gonna say, all right, we gotta go again. We gotta go again. But if the passion is not there, then it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah. You're not just passionate about football, though. You know what I've been reliably informed you're also passionate about? You're really passionate about family. Your family is really a big deal to you. It's important to you. Tell me a little bit about the family man that is Andre. Or is it Dre?
Whichever one is fine.
What is your yard name? I know you didn't have a yard name.
Yard name? So it's interestingly, they call me Dre, they call me Dre Boy. They even call me, like in my community, they call me Nashi.
I know what a Nashi me did ask about. Because all of us have a name that have nothing to do with our name. That was our yard name. It's completely different, yeah. So Nashi. But I'm not asking about Nashi now. I want to know about you as a partner, as a dad. Tell me about you in that role.
I wanted to get married young and I wanted to have kids young. And I do not know why.
That does not surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. You probably wanted to change your own narrative from what you had as a youngster. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But ever since I've known myself, you know, I've always wanted to get married early. Yeah. I've always wanted to have kids early, you know. Maybe it was supposed to be a part of, you know, the package, something that's going to keep me, you know, on track, you know, or whatever the case might be. You know, for me, I wanted to give my kids the life that I never had.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And for me, that's also one of my biggest motivation, you know. And even after a hard day, knowing that you're going home, to your kids, you know, you're going home to your wife. It put things into perspective.
It does.
Because especially for me, like football, I can get very caught up in the game, you know, and then when I go home to my family, I realize that, you know, there's also life and there's still so much to be grateful for. I might lose a game, which I hate losing, but then when I go home to my family, I realize, all right, you lose the game, but
you're winning in life.
You're winning in life,
yeah.
You know, so it really helps me to stay grounded. It put things into perspective, and it reminds me that, you know, when I'm home with my family, I'm good. Yeah. That's my recharge right there.
What's the thing you love to do the most with the boys?
Play music. I'm not going to say football.
Wait,
play
too
music.
Predictable.
Too predictable.
Too predictable.
Too predictable. Music.
And then when you say play music now, you're talking about, like, hear me, I was about to say when you put on a vinyl. By the way, what year are we in? But vinyls are making a comeback, a proper comeback too. We're talking about like playing music in the house, or are you talking about actually playing and creating music?
Actual live music, like playing drums, you know, keyboard, singing, just having a good time.
When did you realize you could play music?
I'm from a music family.
Yes.
So ever since I was younger, I loved the drums. You know, I could play a little bit. Can help myself.
Yeah.
And now I'm transitioning a little bit to the keyboard. My oldest, I would just tell him go to the drums and I show him something for 2 seconds and he will get it.
Oh, so he has musical ears for sure then.
100%. You know, so for me, I'd go with them and I could do it for hours and not get bored.
Really?
They don't want to.
He said, I could, not the kids.
I could, not the kids, you know, but for me, that's the thing I enjoy doing the most with them. And what they enjoy doing the most with me is going in the backyard and kicking around. So finding the balance, making it work.
So when you're in the backyard kicking around, you keeping?
Never. Never.
I had a feeling.
Never. My youngest, he's going in the goal a little more than I would want him to.
Really?
Yeah. And he reminds me of myself so much where I've never formally trained him. And I see him doing some goalkeeper stuff that are natural. That he's 6, and 10, 12-year-olds don't do that.
So he has a natural knack for it. But Andre, you know, sister, we have to go shape him.
But he's always asking me to shoot on him, but I don't want to do it. I do not want him to be a goalkeeper.
Why not?
It's a tough position.
Really?
And he's a lefty, and the lefties are special. Goalkeeping is a very, very tough position.
And you know what's interesting? I mean, it might be controversial, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's probably the least celebrated position, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. And it's the most pressure. You can't make a mistake. And you have to play with that. You have to live with that. You make a mistake. I always say you make 99 saves. And you make one mistake and you lose the game 1-0. Everybody remembers that. Nobody remembers the 99 save because you lose the game.
But isn't that life though?
It is life.
Oh, it's so unfortunate, but you're right. We often focus on the one negative thing, or the one time someone says no after they've said yes.
Yes, how many times?
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
How does one become a really good goalkeeper?
I'm gonna say hard work, but that's the obvious.
Yeah.
That's the obvious. It's a combination. You know, I've seen where talented goalkeepers don't make it because they don't work hard enough. You know, and I've seen where persons that are not as talented make it because they work hard enough. So it's just finding that balance, you know, of what really works, you know, accepting where you are versus where you need to be, and give it your best shot, because you never know what can happen.
Right.
But you can control how much effort you put in, and then you just have to see where it takes you from there.
Yeah. So we've spoken about playing national. We've spoken about playing with Philadelphia Union. Can we talk about how much love you have received from the city of brotherly love? Because them love you bad.
Listen.
I wonder if you know.
I know.
Yeah?
I feel it. I hear it.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I mean, I've been there for 12 years.
Yeah.
The draft was actually in Philadelphia when I got drafted.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I feel like it was all destined. It was all destined, you know. So, and first 2 years was tough. I did 2 surgeries, 3 months apart.
What did you have to do surgery on?
On my knees, right knee and then left knee. So I had mine.
I was actually going to say something that was kind of funny, but it's not funny. What I was going to say is that when you became 6'2", or you're adding in some height there? Is that the secret, Trey? I'm kidding, no. But this is also the thing that people don't realize, right? You mentioned, you know, how hard it is to be a keeper, what you put your body through, because you have to fling yourself over there and then throw yourself over here. But let's talk a bit about the rigors of what your body has been through.
Yeah, I mean, as a goalkeeper, I think football in general is hard, you know, but if you look at it, if somebody's firing a shot at you, most times you're going to take cover or you're going to run.
Yeah, yeah.
Goalkeeper, somebody's shooting, you have to stand up and you have to actually go into the line of the shot, you know. Somebody's 2 yards out and they're blasting it as hard as possible. You have to put your body on the line.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could get in the face, you could get hit anywhere, but you can't think about that, you know, in the moment. You know, you make the save, the adrenaline, you feel good.
Yeah.
Maybe later it hurts a little bit, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
What's the worst blow you've ever gotten trying to make a save?
Whew. Straight off the face.
Jeez. So. But you say beer peeny wally.
Straight off the face. Straight off the face.
For those who don't know, those would be fireflies. You know, the twinkle twinkle. This is for your Philadelphia Union people. If we translate the peeny wally.
There we go.
Oh man. When this thing is said and done, where do you think ultimately you will say, you know, this is my place of dwelling, this is where I want to see out my retirement, this is what I want to do for my retirement?
I don't know where life's going to take me then. I know I want to go into coaching.
Yeah.
When I'm done, I think I have something to offer there. So it's going to depend on my family, of course, and opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, so whether it's in the States or in Jamaica, wherever it is, I'll make the right decision when the time comes.
What's the thing your kids love the most about Jamaica and being Jamaican?
So they like just coming back, going to see their grandma, you know,
Go country like
coconut, cane, you know, and just the tropics,
yeah.
You know. Sometimes they complain that it's a little too hot, but other than that, you know, they just enjoy the nice warm weather, being able to get some natural fruits, and you know, for me, like coming back in the off season,
yeah,
that's I need that.
Yeah.
Before I go back into the season, that's for me, that's an essential. You know, I come back and I just reset, go down to Montego Bay for a little bit, and to just unwind.
Your kids understand patois?
They do.
Them talk
They talk it.
Them talk it good, or them talk it like pick me where I try talk it.
The younger one have an accent, but the older one, he can just switch it.
So when they can talk, when they talk around people and people don't know when they talk.
Yeah. The little one might not be able to respond, but he would understand.
Yeah. Don't you just love that though? I love the ability to be born somewhere, have a dream, to be able to live out that dream professionally and personally, and still be able to say, like, I've given myself the life I've always desired, the life I've always dreamed of, but my kids are never too far from where I came.
Yes.
Don't you love that?
I love that, because I wanted them to also know that, you know, this life that they're living right now at their age, I was not living that life.
Yeah.
So I want them to understand that, you know, this is where we are right now, but they also need to understand where I'm coming from, because I think that's going to be important for them to go into the real world.
Yeah, yeah. If you had a single message to give to a youngster who is watching this and dreams of having a career in football, what would you say to that person?
Jamaicans always say, when we make up my mind, but I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful a made up mind is.
A word.
When you make up your mind that you're going to do something,
yes, Dre,
nothing will really stop you. From the age, I would say 4 or 5, I made up my mind. I can't swim. And I said, if I had to swim, I'm going to swim. When I went to visit Connecticut from the tropics, I was wearing like 6 or 7 layers. That's how cold it was. But I said, if I'm going to have to freeze, I'm going to have to freeze. But I'm going to make it, because my mind was made up.
A word.
People don't realize how powerful a made up mind can be.
That's real solid. You know what else I think is really impressive? It's impressive how many instruments you taught yourself. But, or so you say. That's the thing. That's what you said.
That's
but
what
you know,
I say.
Dre, the only way to know if you can play is to bring out an instrument.
Put me on the spot, all right.
Oh, well then,
All
we're
right.
going to find out today if you told a lie or not. But what's interesting is, obviously, you're skilled with your hands and not just with our football. You're skilled with your hands with other things too, right?
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to... Can someone just... I don't know, can we find a keyboard somewhere in this building? Anywhere? Anybody? Somebody? Anybody? Oh, well, would you look at that? We've got a keyboard. You see? But I make up my mind. So I was going to play a keyboard today.
And I have to make sure I stay positive. But playing can also be subjective, right?
It can.
All right.
But what I love is you're already giving yourself positive self-talk. I see what's happening here. This is in action. By the way, I definitely swiped my daughter's keyboard for this moment. You weren't kidding. You can play.
I can play a little.
That's not a little. That's a lottle. You can play. Dre, I genuinely thought you were going to play Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm not kidding. So let me ask you this. You mentioned that you play with the boys. Are you going to start a little home band?
I have a home band.
What? So I know one of them is a drummer. Another one does what?
Right now we're trying to figure it out. The younger one, DeAndre. But I think he's gonna probably sing. I was talking to him. He also likes the keyboard a little bit.
Yeah.
So we can bounce around and see who really fits with what.
You literally taught yourself the keyboard when you were in competition on the road. This was for Gold Cup, no?
Yes. We're playing the John Legend. I heard it on TikTok, All of Me, and I said, let me try that. Then before you know it, the whole team we were in a hotel in Chicago. I think it was Chicago or Missouri, I don't remember. And then there was a piano there, and I went there, and then before I know it, the entire team was there and we were singing. Went viral. John Legend was like in the post. Let's see if I can remember the.
Well done. Well, actually, you know what? Forget goalkeeping. No, man, it's all right.
I have a future after football.
Listen, I'll manage you when we're hitting the road. You already know life on the road. It won't even come new to you. You understand?
Exactly.
Just pack up the kids. I tell you what. This is what we're going to work out. Your kids on the instruments, my daughter on the mic, and your little son on the backup.
We have
a band.
We have a band.
That's it. We just need to come up with a name. What's the name?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. We're going to find a name. We're going to find a name.
We're going to find a name. We have time.
We have time. Let me just have our handy dandy person get this keyboard out of here. Whoever made this keyboard up here, let's make it disappear. Thank you. Dre, that's brilliant. That's actually brilliant. It means you are committed to using so many aspects of yourself and so many aspects of who you are. And I think that is brilliant. 3 words that you live by, 3 words that are the things that are like a mantra for you, or 3 things or phrases, not just words. What are they?
I'm going to say discipline for me is a big one. Maybe the most important one. Passionate.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be interesting because I am a very hard marker of myself.
I can tell.
I grade myself very hard.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and it's a curse.
Completely understand. Speaking directly to me on that one. I see you on that. I feel you on that. But it's the thing that allows us to aspire and keep ambitious and stay driven. But also, when it doesn't go exactly according to plan, it's hard to give ourselves the grace to accept it not going to plan.
You got it.
I get you loud and clear. Thank you so much for giving what you do to Team Jamaica. Thank you so much for being exemplary in what you do with Philadelphia Union. Thank you for being as committed as you are as a husband and a father. And thank you that it matters so much to you to show your passion and your commitment as our couple, because it shows and it goes a far way. And we are excited to see where you go from here, where you continue to soar from here. We don't have no more expectations of you, To me, you've done it all. But where you go from here, I think everyone will just continue to feel a great sense of pride because you make us really proud, Andre Blake.
Thank you. And I look forward to continuing to wave that flag.
Yeah.
High and proud.
Yeah. Is there a particular thing that you really want to achieve in your career that you've not yet achieved that you're just like, if I do this thing, I'd be like, yeah, I'm good now?
Yeah, I need to play in the World Cup.
Yeah.
That's as big as it gets.
You think we're going to make it happen?
We need to. I believe.
Yeah.
I believe.
I believe too. One thing is for sure, we all believe and we're all behind you. Macapo!
Thank you.
Da, da, da. Oh, that sound goody? Doesn't it actually sound good? Look, 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 look. Oh yeah. And we do close this up. Here you go, Dre. Yep. And cheers to a great episode.
Whatever your style, classic, trendy, sophisticated, bold, one thing we all share is our desire to indulge. Velvety and perfectly balanced with just the right amount of spirit, Worthy Park Rum Cream is your perfect pleasure. So whatever your style, indulge in the new Worthy Park Rum Cream. Smooth Jamaican elegance. Must be 18 years and older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Hey you! Gentle reminder, like, subscribe, and share.